Hey guys, Jared here with Deer Country Farm and Lawn. It's February here in Pennsylvania still, but before we know it, spring's going to be right at our doorstep. Now, whether you're in the market for a new piece of equipment, you're probably also thinking about used equipment. So today, we want to talk briefly about used equipment and talk about some points that you should look for on used equipment to make sure that your hard-earned dollar gets well spent. All right guys, so before we go ahead and just dive into looking at equipment and what you should really kind of be checking and some tips on that side, let's talk about some homework that you can actually do before you actually go out to the equipment or before you actually start looking at pieces of equipment online. So some of the tips here for homework that you can do is start off by looking at your lawn. Start off by looking at what you want to do with the machine. So say for example, you have a very small lot. You can easily push mow it. Maybe you just want to go out and find yourself a used push mower. Say you have a larger lot. You have some steep hills on there as well, and you're also thinking, hey, I have a long driveway. I'm tired of walking behind my snowblower. Maybe I want to go ahead and put a front-mounted snowblower on my piece of equipment. Steer yourself in the direction of looking at something like a garden tractor. If you're thinking about just mowing and that's all you want to do and you have a fairly flat lawn, go ahead and look at something like a zero turn. But first, do some thinking about it. Decide where you want to be, what you want to accomplish with the machine itself, and then familiarize yourself with the machine. Start looking at what makes the mower, what makes the garden tractor, the zero turn, depending on which direction you want to go, and learn the anatomy of it. Engine, mower deck, transmission. That way you're familiar with the key components of a machine, so when you go out and actually look at the machine, you'll know exactly what you're looking at. Another big key point is familiarize yourself with the generations of tractors. So for example, this X580 here, familiarize yourself with the generations before. You may come across a garden tractor that is capable of doing what you want to do, but might be a little older and has a different number on it. You want to make sure that if you see it, you can recognize it and you know that it's going to fit that same category of what you're looking for. One of the big things I always see too with used equipment and older equipment is make sure that if you want to do something with a tractor that you're paying attention to, are the parts attachments still available for it? I run into it every year where someone goes out and buys a used mower. They call me up and say, hey, I want to get a bagger system, or I want to get a mulch kit, or I want to get a front blade or blower for it. And unfortunately, it's no longer available. It's unfortunate that that happens, but just do your homework. With the piece of equipment, call the local dealer up, say, hey, can I still get this stuff? If they say, yep, it's still readily available, you're good to go. Another thing that you can do is go online to specific websites like Tractor House or Machinery Pete. There's websites out there to check things like price and market value. If you see a used mower online, whether it be a private sale or a dealer, you want to make sure that you're getting a good deal. So, gauge your thought process on, I see an X580 for $6,000 with this many hours on it, and you go online and you see that, hey, that's right on point for where it should be price-wise. A lot of other dealers and other people are asking about that price. But if you see this tractor right here and you're like, hey, they're only asking $2,500, $3,000 for it when everyone else is a little bit higher, be cautious. Sometimes deals that are too good to be true sometimes hide hidden problems and hidden things that are wrong with the machine that you just want to be careful that you don't run into a lemon, for lack of better words. So let's talk here about some parts of the actual equipment itself that when you go out and actually put your eyes on it, that you know what you're looking at and know that you're getting a good deal. All right, so let's take a look at the machinery. First impressions are very important. Whether it's a private sale or whether it's a dealer, if you're looking at a piece of machinery, you walk up to it and it's nice and clean, all the plastics are in good shape, the deck looks well cared for, the seat's not all ripped up, that's usually a good sign that the machine was taken care of. Of course, if you walk up to it, hood's broken, seat's ripped, deck's got holes in it, man, you might want to err on the side of caution when it comes to looking at that piece of machinery a little bit more in depth. That usually means it wasn't cared for. You could be walking into some hidden issues that will cost you in the long run. Next thing you want to look at here, take a look at the engine compartment. Take a look at the engine itself. Check the oil in the engine. Make sure that the oil's clean, that it doesn't have a lot of debris. Make sure that the air filter area is clean. Make sure that the wiring is all intact, that there's not a bunch of loose wiring or exposed wiring with someone trying to hook in a bunch of accessories. Usually that's a sign that if you see those types of things, that the machine wasn't cared for and that you could be walking into issues later on down the road. Another thing with the engine itself is take a look at the manufacturer of the engine. If the manufacturer of the engine is a reputable brand, that usually means you're getting a good engine. You also want to take a look at what parts are going to be available for us. How old is this engine? You don't want to buy a piece of machinery, the engine be out of date, and you can no longer get parts for it. You want to make sure that if something does go wrong later on down the road, that you're able to get parts for the machine itself. Safety switches is another thing that you should check. Safety is very important. Most lawn and garden tractors, zero turns, they will have things like seat switches. They will have things like backup RIO switches on them. You just want to make sure that when you actually test drive the machine that those work. Safety is important. If they don't work, it's either a sign that the person has bypassed them or that they're not working at all, which could lead to a larger repair later on down the road. With that being said, on the maintenance side of things, ask the person or ask the dealer if they have any records of maintenance of the machine itself. A lot of times if a unit was bought through a dealership, like here at Deer Country Farm and Lawn, and it was maintenance by us, we will have those records and we will actually be able to tell you, yes, this unit has been maintenanced by us for the past handful of years, so you know that, hey, a dealer's been checking over it. If it's a private sale, that's no problem. You can usually tell by the way the machine was taken care of by checking the oil to make sure that the dipstick's not burnt and it's not, it doesn't smell like it's burnt, that the person kept care of it itself. Last but not least, when you go to look at a piece of equipment, you want to take a look at the deck. You want to take a look at things like the gauge wheels. You want to take a look at the actual shell of the deck itself. Take a look at the belt. If there's holes in the deck, if the gauge wheels are flat and completely worn off, if the belt has cuts in it or tears in it, then you know that possibly there are going to be some repairs that need to be done to that machine. It's going to cost you to get those repairs done. You just want to be aware of those types of situations to make sure that you're getting a good deal for your money. Test drives. Test drives are very important as well. You should never really buy a mower without doing a test drive. If you go to a person's house, hopefully they'll let you drive around their yard with it. I don't know if they'll let you cut, but hopefully they will at least let you take it for a drive and actually turn the deck on. So when you start the machine, you want to listen how the engine handles itself. You want to make sure it starts easy, that there's not excessive smoke pouring out of it, that it doesn't sit there and sputter and shake. When you drive it around, you want to make sure that you're easily able to turn that steering wheel, that the steering doesn't feel loose. When you engage the mower deck, you want to make sure that you don't hear any unusual noises. A lot of times with electronic clutch systems, when you engage that deck, if there's a loud bang, pop, or a noise like that, that usually means that there's something going wrong with the clutch system or the deck itself that's going to need to be looked at. That can happen very quick and cause you to have a pretty expensive repair right off the bat after buying it. But test drives are very important. Make sure you get on the seat here at Deer Country Farm and Lawn and most dealers. We'll let you hop on it. We'll let you cut the grass. We'll let you have fun with it. Decide, for yourself to make sure that you like it, that it fits you, and that it does what you need it to do. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap up our quick video here of used equipment. Some tips, recommendations, things to check out if you're in the market come this spring for a used piece of equipment. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be putting out more videos here at Deer Country Farm and Lawn for your equipment needs.